Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Fully Booked and Bonkers.
Yes, welcome, because if you're watching this now with both of us on it, then you'll know that at least Bev was successful in uploading it this week rather than last week's fiasco.
So as my punishment, I'm not allowed to talk much this week. I've got to do Ian's job. He is going to do the review. And you're going to review a book, I believe, written by Panny Haw.
Panny Haw, yes.
And
yes.
Penny is based in Cape Town in South Africa. And she is a freelance writer, journalist and editor. And as well as the book that Ian's going to talk about, she's written a children's book about Nico the vervet monkey who lives on an African farm.
Uh-huh.
And she has another novel coming out later this year called The Invincible Miss Cust, and it will be about a lady called Aileen Cust who, though she was born in the 1860s, became Britain and Ireland's very first female veterinary surgeon, so quite a pioneer. But anyway, the book, you can tell us about the book that you're going to review tonight.
Yes, the book I'm going to review tonight. Would you like to tell you now?
Yeah.
Okay, this is The Wilderness Between Us by Panny Haw. Now, one of the things I'm going to say first before I go into the book review is that this is for shout out to all your authors out there. It is a must that you continue to put on your social media or wherever you put it about the book, because
in this case it was Facebook.
In this case it was Facebook, okay, and I saw it on Facebook and I sort of scrolled through, but the next time I saw it, I went, oh, that looks interesting. And the next time I saw it, I did a bit more research, and I think it was probably 6 or 7 times I'd looked into the book, thanks to social media, that I decided to buy it. And I've since then bought another book from social media from doing exactly that. So there are some great authors out there, but don't give up. Just keep putting them out there, because people do want to read. If it's a good book and it's well written, people are going to want to read it. So thank you.
But the marketing on social media definitely is working.
Yeah, definitely works.
We've both bought books that we've seen just kind of scrolling through, and also just books recommended by other people on all the food book groups that we're welcome. Sorry, I think I might be hungry. Anyway, not the food groups, the book groups that we are members of. We do read posts. Yeah. We do read reviews, and we do buy books based on that. So exactly. For those of you that are advertising or thinking about it, it is worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So I picked this book up, and I'll be honest with you, normally my genre is police procedurals. I go to your rebuses and that sort of thing, because that's my comfort book, because I know what's going on. But thanks again to a lot of the book groups, you get to see a lot more things that are out there and take your interest. Now, first of all, we'd been to South Africa where this book is based, so I took an interest in that anyway. But I will say, you don't have to have been to South Africa to really enjoy this book. In fact, Penny brings South Africa to you in the book, so that's really good. So the story itself is set out really well. It starts off with a glossary of terms, of South African terms for what things are. So if you're reading through the book and you come across a word, you say, what's that? You go to the glossary and you can see what it is. And I'd also say that it's called. Should we give it up?
Just carry on. Just ignore me.
She's having a funny one.
Sorry.
So I decided to read this book, and it's a great interesting book, because there's no violence in it, there's no sex in it, but it's a really good story, and it's basically about a group of people, let me say our age people possibly, that enjoy walking, enjoy hiking.
Parents.
Yes.
Parents of older children. Yeah. They're so old that they can leave them at home and go and do what they want to do at the weekend, or for a week, even a whole week. They don't. Your children don't need water to like plants.
Isn't it good when it gets like that?
Oh my God! Thank God they're all grown up.
Anyway, carrying on. So this group of people are going on a hike, and one of the party's daughters comes along as well, because his wife couldn't make it, so the daughter came, and her name's Claire. And you find out quite early on in the book as well as you read, and there's a foreword by Penny in it, Claire suffers from anorexia, and one of the things this book did, it really sort of, without trying to be educational or self-righteous and teaching or preaching to you, it really gave you an understanding of perhaps what an individual who has anorexia goes through, but also the extended effects of that into the family and their friends, and some of the devastating things that they have to go through for it. And whilst you felt that in the book, obviously that's a factual thing, it's weaved very, very, very cleverly into the book, and it makes you think. So Claire's a central character. They've all decided they're going on this hiking trip through this place in South Africa, and I'm going to have to look up the name because I can... Sitsikami. Oh, I got that right.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yes. So that they decide to go off on this hike. In the meantime, something sort of something sort of happens on the way to Claire. But also, as this story weaves through the present and to the past, you find out a lot of the individual characters.
Yeah, like the backstory for the entire group.
Yeah, and it's done really, really well, because it's not like you see it on the Switch. It's just weaved in really, really well.
Because they've all known each other since they were sort of at college and stuff like that. So they probably all met when they were about 18, 19 years old, and they've gone through relationships and marriages and then brought up the kids together. Yeah. Totally. So they all know each other really well. Yeah, they do. And you get to feel for a lot of the characters and sort of get in their heads as well. And there's one character, and I won't tell you who it is, who's utterly despicable, and such a... There's always one. There's got to be the one. But anyway, you sort of throw Faye in the mix, who Faye and Claire, for example, are totally polarised to each other, really. Yeah, not just in their age groups. Yeah, and that they literally get thrown together, and without giving spoilers away, that they do get thrown together. Because something happens to Claire, and fortunately Faye is there. Faye's life ends up in Claire's hands. It sort of does, doesn't it? Yeah, and it sort of tells that story. So that they're struggling to survive in the elements, because there's been a really bad issue with the weather and the storms and floods and everything that's going on. So they're sort of cut off. They can't get to where they're going. Meanwhile, the rest of the hiking group, they've crossed this. There's this bloody big river, and one of the characters said, "Oh, we can cross that," and then obviously you can imagine what happens. So everyone else is cut off and trying to get back, and there's rangers trying to come and find, but no one can come. And it's a really romping good book. It really is, with a very satisfying end. And the characters, some of them perhaps you start off not particularly being affectionate to, but not getting to think, grow some. Yeah. But like meeting people in the real world, you don't know when you first meet somebody, you might not like them very much. Yeah. And then as you sort of get to know and understand what your what the common ground is, you can end up finding actually that's the person that I really like. I often find out that the person I like initially, I might not. It's not necessarily not necessarily the one that I like the most in the longer run. Totally. No, I know. I get that. And there's a bit of that there as well. Especially between Claire and Faye, because they're sort of, as Ian says, they're polar opposites. Yeah. So when they get together, they kind of grate initially, and they have to, through the circumstances. Obviously, I've read it as well, but it's a really good book. Ian went on about it so much. I did. That I thought I've got to read this as well, and I loved it. It was great. It's such a good. And again, if you've not been to South Africa, Penny, we're fortunate enough to have spent some time there. But Penny really brings the sense of the country to you. Yeah, with all the descriptions of the plants and the animals. And you can get a sense of the nature and the air around you while you're sort of reading it and everything that's going on. Sorry, that was my fault. I kicked the camera. Okay. Anyway, Bigfoot. Yeah, I'm just rubbish. I'm rubbish at this. You're not rubbish. No, whatever. So look, this is The Wilderness Between Us. Penny, it's a fantastic book. I would recommend this to anybody. Okay, absolutely anybody. It is definitely worth a read, and you'll definitely feel wonderful afterwards of reading it. I did, and I've gone from a police procedural to this, and I'm so glad I did. I'm really looking forward to the next book. Yes. And I'm a really slow reader, so just stick with it. Yeah. So Ian will be reviewing around about Halloween,
No.
maybe, possibly
No,
Christmas.
no, I'll be
That'll
honest.
the next
No,
time.
I have another book which I bought from seeing posts on
Yes,
Facebook.
and you did.
Yeah.
Yes, the science fiction-y spy one.
Tom Bowles one.
Yeah. You said it was like a cross between Big Bang and James
Big
Bond.
Bang and James Bond.
And there was something else thrown in, but I can't remember what it was.
If Indiana Jones was a scientist and
That's it.
not an archaeologist, mixed in with a little bit of James Bond.
Yeah,
It's
so
really,
he's not.
really
What
good.
does he have instead? His hat and his whip. Oh look, you've got a hat there.
Oh, okay.
This was supposed to be because we were in Africa.
This is my hat I had on in Africa, so I was going to wear it. But look at that.
But that could be your Indiana Jones hat as well. All you need is a whip.
Oh no! Look.
Oh look!
She's
Look,
on the
this is
move.
Ruby. You've always got to get in on this.
She does.
Jeff just sleeps and
Yeah.
Ruby's like, oh no.
Little piggy.
Yeah, little piggy.
Little piggy.
Anyway,
So, yes,
that
well
is
done.
enough from us
Penny, thank you very
this
much,
week. Please, the dog.
It's all right.
The dog Ruby has just switched her light off. Oh my god!
Hang on, we're going back.
Like you couldn't make it up. Like pugs are us. Anyway. Okay,
Right,
it's
come
just
on.
madness.
Oh, it is.
Please remember that good books deserve readers and reviews are a way of achieving this. So
Yes, definitely.
keep reading, keep
definitely.
reviewing.
If you're a reader, then please do put a review on. Thumbs up to all those authors out there trying hard.
Yes.
Excellent. We'll see you soon, hopefully. She always manages to disrupt everything.
She does.
Maybe next week we'll get lucky. See you soon.
Good night.
Bye.